Hello friends, this video on nuclei part 18 is brought to you by examfear.com. No more fear from exam. Please make sure that you have watched all the videos till part 17 before going ahead with part 18. Now let us study about nuclear fission in little detail. There was a scientist named Fermi who was the one to first observe or to first perform this nuclear fission reaction. So what did he actually do? He took this radioactive uranium-235. So he took a sample of this uranium-235 and he bombarded this uranium with a neutron. So what did he observe? When a neutron bombarded this uranium-235, uranium-236 was formed. And this uranium-236 immediately broke down into two different elements, barium and krypton, and along with this 3 neutrons were emitted. So this was barium with 56 and krypton with 36. So this reaction was termed as the nuclear fission reaction because a heavier nuclide was broken into lighter nuclide and a large amount of energy was released along with this. So what happened in this reaction? So this atom, this nuclide is known as the target nucleus. So this uranium was the target. This neutron was used to bombard the uranium. So when neutrons strike the uranium, what forms? Krypton and barium. Krypton and barium forms, and along with that 3 neutrons are also formed. Now these 3 neutrons can again act as strikers for other targets. That means they are also capable of striking another uranium and giving rise to another fission reaction. So this was the nuclear fission reaction and a huge amount of energy was released during this process. So that was the significance of this nuclear fission reaction. So the elements which were produced were highly unstable and radioactive. So if they are radioactive, they will have a tendency to decay, to form lighter and stabler nuclei. Now there are 2 types of nuclear fission reactions which actually take place. One is an uncontrolled chain reaction and the other one is a controlled reaction. So what is an uncontrolled chain reaction? So when I talk about an uncontrolled chain reaction, it is uncontrolled and rapid. That means the reaction keeps increasing and keeps becoming huge. For example, here I start with one uranium. I hit it with the help of a neutron. What happens? Uranium-236 is formed. This immediately breaks down into barium and krypton and 3 neutrons are formed. These 3 are the 3 neutrons. Now these 3 neutrons, each of them strike another uranium-235 because when I am talking about a sample, the sample has many uranium-235 nuclei, right? So these 3 neutrons will strike 3 different uranium-235 again and 3 fission reactions will start. So from this reaction itself, it will give rise to 3 neutrons again. So this will give rise to 3 neutrons again. This will give rise to 3 neutrons again. So here in this case, there were 3 neutrons which were formed, which were capable of initiating 3 nuclear fission reactions. But now in this case, how many neutrons are there? There are a total of 9 neutrons. So they are capable of initiating 9 fission reactions. Now after that, if you see, each of this neutron again give rise to 3 neutrons. So this time you have some 27 neutrons which are capable of initiating 27 fission reactions, and this process keeps continuing and the amount of energy released keeps on increasing because in just one fission reaction huge amount of energy is released. The energy released is of the order of mega electron volts. So you can imagine how large the quantity is. Normally when you burn fuels like coal or petroleum, the amount of energy which we get is in terms of electron volts. So this is almost 10 to the power 6 times of that. So huge amount of energy is released even in one fission reaction. So in this case, when the fission reactions are multiplying in this way, you just imagine the amount of energy that is getting released in this reaction. So this uncontrolled chain reaction is not a desirable reaction as such, because the amount of energy that is released becomes out of control. However, this uncontrolled chain reaction also has applications which we see around us. For example, one of the important applications which we see is the atom bombs. You would have heard of atom bombs, hydrogen bombs, nuclear bombs, and terms like that. What are those things? They are all explosions, and those explosions happen when an uncontrollable amount of energy is released, right? So this is what happens in case of an uncontrolled chain reaction. This is called chain reaction because it occurs like a chain. I mean, the product formed in the first reaction again initiates the second reaction. The product formed in the second reaction initiates the third reaction, and this process continues. So that is why it is called a chain reaction. So the example, as I mentioned, is the atom bomb. So in this case, the number of neutrons hitting the next target divided by the number of neutrons emitted is always greater than or equal to 1. That means if you look at the first reaction, how many neutrons are emitted in the first reaction? The number of neutrons emitted is 3. And how many of these 3 neutrons are hitting the next target? 3, right? So 3 by 3 is 1. So it is talking about that ratio. The number of neutrons which are hitting the next target divided by the number of neutrons which were emitted. So in this reaction, the number of neutrons emitted were 3. All of the 3 were allowed to hit the next target, right? So in case of an uncontrolled chain reaction, all of them initiate reactions. So that means this ratio is always equal to 1, or sometimes it might be greater than 1 also. Maybe some extra neutrons will also come up and they will also hit some other uranium atoms, right? So this ratio will always be greater than or equal to 1 for an uncontrolled chain reaction. On the other hand, when I talk of a controlled chain reaction, what happens here? The reaction is controlled and steady. So here also large amount of energy is released, but it is not that huge that you cannot control it. So this energy can be used for good purposes. So how do you make this reaction controlled? In this case, what we do is that, see, here also the similar thing is happening. Neutron strikes uranium-235, so uranium-236 is formed, which immediately splits into barium and krypton, and 3 neutrons are emitted. But in this case, what's happening is, by using some external agent, we vanish 2 neutrons and only 1 neutron is allowed to hit the next target. So in this case, we don't allow all the electrons which are emitted to hit the next target. Only 1 neutron is allowed to hit the target. So as a result, here also only 3 neutrons are formed, and again these 2 neutrons are made to vanish. I mean, how do we vanish those electrons? We make some arrangement to absorb those neutrons. So here in this case, I have shown you this devil faces to show that they are absorbing these neutrons. So only 1 neutron is left, and only 1 neutron is always allowed to continue the next, it is allowed to hit the next uranium. Sometimes 2 neutrons are also allowed to hit the next target. So in that case the energy released will be little more than this, but at least it will be lesser than the uncontrolled chain reaction, right? So in this case, one of the good example is a nuclear reactor. So nuclear reactor is an arrangement where the nuclear energy is used for generation of electricity, and this nuclear reactor has become a very important thing in today's world where we are facing so much of energy crisis. So this can become a very good source of energy. So nuclear reactor is an example of a controlled chain reaction or a controlled nuclear fission. So in this case, the number of neutrons hitting the next target divided by number of neutrons emitted is always less than 1. For example, in this case, number of neutrons hitting the next target is 1, and number of neutrons which were emitted is 3. So 1 by 3, it is less than 1. So even if you allow two, that means out of these three neutrons which are emitted, either one will be allowed to hit the next target or two will be allowed to hit the next target. But never all of them will be allowed to hit the next target, because if you allow all of them, again the reaction will become uncontrolled and huge. Right? So I hope you understand the difference between a controlled chain reaction and an uncontrolled chain reaction. Thank you. Please visit examfear.com to watch free educational videos, try free online tests, get the best quality study materials, study from the best tutors and mentors, and much more. Thank you once again.